my chosen one. Something within you has been stirring, and this is not by accident. The restlessness you feel right now, the quiet storm inside your chest, the thoughts that won't settle no matter how hard you try. This is not weakness. This is not confusion. This is not something to silence. This is a signal. Archangel Michael is speaking to you in this very moment, and the truth may shock you. What you have been trying to escape is actually the very force that can transform your life forever. Pause for a second and feel it. That unease, the tension, that sense that something isn't right. You've called it anxiety, overthinking, maybe even fear. But what if I told you that this inner unrest is sacred? What if this feeling is not here to break you, but to awaken something powerful within you? Because here is the revelation that only a few ever truly understand. Your soul does not become restless without purpose. The discomfort you feel is the friction between who you are now and who you are being called to become. And Archangel Michael is stepping in right now to guide you through this transformation. You were never meant to stay comfortable. Comfort keeps you still. But your spirit was designed to move, to rise, to evolve. And when you resist that calling, unrest begins to grow. It builds quietly at first, then louder until it becomes impossible to ignore. That is where you are right now, standing at the edge of something life-changing. Listen carefully, because this message is not reaching everyone. It has found you for a reason. Archangel Michael is revealing that what you feel is not chaos. It is energy. Raw, unshaped, divine energy. And if left unchecked, it turns into fear, doubt, and judgment. But if understood, if guided, it becomes something unstoppable. It becomes clarity. It becomes compassion. It becomes unshakable faith. Right now, many around you may not understand what you're going through. They may tell you to calm down, to ignore it, to distract yourself. But they cannot see what is happening on a deeper level. They cannot hear the whisper that is calling your soul forward. You are being prepared. Prepared to see differently. Prepared to feel more deeply. Prepared to rise above patterns that once held you down. This unrest is not here to destroy your peace. It is here to rebuild it on a stronger foundation. And here is the part that will change everything if you truly accept it. The power you are searching for is already inside you. It is hidden within the very feelings you are trying to run from. Archangel Michael is not asking you to eliminate your unrest. He is asking you to transform it. Because within that tension lies clarity. Within that fear lies courage. Within that judgment lies the seed of mercy. But transformation requires awareness. It requires you to stop running, to stop numbing, and to start listening. So right now, in this moment, do not turn away. Do not scroll past this message. Do not dismiss what you feel. This is your turning point. Archangel Michael is standing with you, guiding you, showing you that what feels overwhelming today will soon become your greatest strength. And as you begin to understand this truth, everything within you will start to shift. Stay with this message, because what comes next will reveal exactly how to take this inner unrest and turn it into a powerful force for good. There is a deeper truth about what you are feeling, and Archangel Michael wants you to understand it clearly. Your inner unrest is not random. It is not a mistake, and it is certainly not a sign that something is wrong with you. In fact, it is the exact opposite. It is a sign that something within you is awakening. Think about the moments when the unrest feels strongest. It often appears when you are alone, when everything is quiet, when there are no distractions left to hide behind. It rises when you begin to question things, your path, your decisions, your purpose. It can feel uncomfortable, even overwhelming at times, as if your mind is searching for answers it cannot immediately find. But listen closely. This is not confusion. This is expansion. Archangel Michael reveals that your spirit is stretching beyond old limits. The life you once accepted without question is no longer enough for your soul. The patterns you once tolerated now feel heavy. The thoughts that once seemed normal now feel misaligned. This is not because you are lost, it is because you are growing. And growth does not feel peaceful at first. When a seed begins to break open beneath the soil, it does not feel comfort. It feels pressure. It feels resistance. It feels the struggle of becoming something more. And yet, that struggle is the very process that allows it to rise into the light. You are in that same sacred process. The unrest you feel is the breaking of old layers. It is the release of outdated beliefs, fears, and judgments that no longer belong to the person you are becoming. And while this process can feel unsettling, it is necessary. Because you cannot step into a higher version of yourself while holding on to what was meant to be left behind. Archangel Michael is guiding you to see this clearly. Your discomfort is not your enemy. It is your messenger. Every restless thought, every uneasy feeling, every moment of inner tension is pointing you toward something. It is asking you to look deeper, to question what you have accepted, and to become more aware of what truly aligns with your spirit. But here is where many people lose their way. Instead of listening to this unrest, they try to silence it. They distract themselves. They numb it with noise, with habits, with endless activity. They run from it because it feels uncomfortable. And in doing so, they miss the message completely. You are being called to do something different. You are being called to listen. Because hidden within this unrest are answers. Not the kind that come instantly, but the kind that unfold when you are willing to sit with yourself, when you are willing to face what you feel without fear. Archangel Michael is teaching you that awareness is the first step toward transformation. When you become aware of your thoughts without judging them, when you observe your feelings without trying to escape them, something powerful begins to happen. Clarity starts to form. You begin to notice patterns you never saw before. You begin to understand what triggers your unrest and why. You begin to see where fear has taken control, where judgment has clouded your vision, and where your spirit has been trying to guide you all along. This is the beginning of your transformation. And yes, it may feel unfamiliar. It may feel like you are stepping into unknown territory. But this is where your strength is being built. Archangel Michael wants you to know that you are not alone in this process. Every moment of discomfort you experience is being witnessed. Every step you take toward awareness is supported. Even when it feels like you are struggling, you are actually moving forward. You are learning to see beyond the surface. You are learning to recognize that not every thought you have is truth. Not every fear you feel is real. And not every judgment you make is aligned with who you are meant to become. This realization is powerful. Because once you begin to question these things, you take back control. You no longer allow unrest to control you. Instead, you begin to understand it, to shape it, to transform it. And this is where everything starts to change. The same unrest that once felt overwhelming begins to feel like guidance. The same inner tension that once caused confusion begins to reveal direction. The same thoughts that once created fear begin to open the door to faith. But this is only the beginning. Because there is something even deeper that must be revealed, something that has been quietly influencing your thoughts and emotions without you even realizing it. And as Archangel Michael begins to uncover it, you will finally understand why judgment has held so much power in your life and how it can be transformed into something far greater. There is something within you that has been shaping your thoughts, your reactions, and even your relationships in ways you may not have fully realized. Archangel Michael is bringing this into the light now, because this is the turning point, the moment where transformation truly begins. That force is judgment. Judgment does not always appear in obvious ways. It is not just about how you see others, it is also how you see yourself. It hides in quiet thoughts, in quick reactions, in the silent conclusions you draw without even noticing. It shows up when you compare, when you assume, when you decide something is right or wrong without understanding the full truth. And here is what Archangel Michael wants you to understand. Judgment is often born from inner unrest. When something within you feels unsettled, the mind tries to create order. It tries to make sense of discomfort by labeling things, by placing blame, by creating stories that feel easier to hold on to than uncertainty. This is how judgment forms. It feels like control, but in reality, it blocks your growth. Because every time you judge, you close a door. You close the door to understanding. You close the door to compassion. You close the door to truth. And most importantly, you close the door to your own transformation. Think about the moments when you feel most tense inside. In those moments, the mind begins to search for something to hold onto. It may turn outward, pointing at others, finding faults, creating distance. Or it may turn inward, criticizing yourself, replaying mistakes, questioning your worth. This is the cycle of judgment, and it is exhausting. Archangel Michael is revealing that this cycle is not your true nature. It is a learned response, a pattern that has been repeated so many times that it feels automatic. But what feels automatic can be changed. And this is where your power begins. Because the moment you become aware of your judgment, you create space. Space between the thought and your reaction. Space where something new can enter. That something is mercy. Mercy is not weakness. It is not ignoring truth or pretending everything is perfect. Mercy is the ability to see beyond the surface. It is the strength to pause before reacting, to understand before concluding, to feel compassion even when it is difficult. And this is where transformation begins to take shape. Archangel Michael is guiding you to recognize that every judgment you release becomes an opening for peace, an opening for clarity, an opening for a deeper connection with yourself and others. But this requires honesty. It requires you to notice when judgment arises and to ask yourself, what is this really coming from? Is it fear? Is it insecurity? Is it past pain that has not been healed? When you begin to ask these questions, something shifts. You stop reacting automatically, and you start responding with awareness. You begin to see that many of your judgments were never about others at all. They were reflections of something within you that needed attention, understanding, and healing. This realization is powerful, because it returns your focus to where true change happens, within. And as you begin to replace judgment with mercy, you will notice something unexpected. The unrest inside you begins to soften. The tension that once felt overwhelming starts to loosen its grip. Not because everything around you has changed, but because you have. You are no longer feeding the cycle. Instead, you are transforming it. Archangel Michael is showing you that mercy is the bridge. It is the path that leads you out of confusion and into clarity. It is what allows you to see yourself without harshness and others without distortion. And as you walk this path, your inner world begins to realign. What once felt heavy begins to feel lighter. What once felt chaotic begins to feel guided. What once felt like a burden begins to reveal its purpose. This is the sacred shift. So in this moment, do not resist what you are discovering. Do not turn away from the awareness that is growing within you. This is the beginning of a new way of seeing, a new way of being, And as you continue forward, something even deeper will be revealed: the true nature of fear and how it has quietly shaped your reality in ways you never imagined. Type "I choose mercy" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 5417 is now activated. As this truth settles into your spirit, understand this: when you choose mercy, you are not only freeing yourself, you are opening a channel for others to experience grace through you. This message is reaching souls who are ready, but many are still waiting in silence, searching for clarity just like you once were. I feel called to help this message reach someone who needs it right now. When you act on that feeling, you are sowing light into places where darkness has lingered. The word says, "Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy." This is not just a promise. It is a living exchange, a divine flow that multiplies through your obedience. If this message has touched you, do not ignore the moment. Give through super thanks or through the PayPal link in the description, or even the QR code placed within this space. This is not just support. It is a seed planted into God's work. And as you give, may your life overflow with the same mercy you are helping to spread. Act now. There is a force that has quietly influenced your decisions, shaped your reactions, and even altered the direction of your life without you fully realizing it. Archangel Michael is bringing this into your awareness now, because unless you understand it, you cannot rise above it. That force is fear. Fear does not always appear as something obvious or overwhelming. It often disguises itself in subtle ways: hesitation, doubt, overthinking, avoidance. It whispers instead of shouts. It convinces you to stay where you are, to not take risks, to question your own strength. And over time, it begins to feel like a natural part of who you are. But listen carefully. Fear is not your truth. Archangel Michael reveals that fear is a distortion. It is not created from divine guidance, but from separation, from moments when you feel disconnected from your inner knowing, from your purpose, from the truth of who you are. Fear thrives in that disconnection because it fills the silence with uncertainty. Think about the times when fear has been strongest in your life. It likely appeared when you were stepping into something new, something unfamiliar, something that required growth. It may have told you that you were not ready, not capable, not worthy. It may have convinced you to turn back, to choose safety over possibility. And in those moments, fear felt real. But Archangel Michael is asking you to see something deeper. Just because fear feels real does not mean it is true. Fear often creates stories that have no foundation in reality. It takes small uncertainties and expands them into overwhelming scenarios. It focuses your attention on what could go wrong instead of what could go right. It pulls you away from the present moment and traps you in imagined outcomes. This is how fear gains power. It does not need to be loud or aggressive. It only needs your attention. The more you focus on it, the stronger it becomes. The more you believe it, the more control it gains over your choices. But here is where your awakening begins. Fear loses its power the moment you begin to question it. Archangel Michael is guiding you to pause when fear arises. Not to push it away, not to fight it, but to observe it. To ask yourself, what is this fear really telling me? Is it protecting me from real danger, or is it holding me back from growth? This question is powerful, because there is a difference between intuitive warning and false fear. Intuitive warning is calm, clear, and direct. It does not overwhelm you or confuse you. It simply guides you away from harm with a sense of quiet knowing. Fear, on the other hand, is chaotic. It creates urgency, pressure, and doubt. It clouds your thinking and makes everything feel uncertain. Learning to recognize this difference is a turning point. Because once you begin to see fear for what it is, you stop allowing it to control you. You begin to step back, to breathe, to reconnect with your inner clarity. And in that space, something new begins to emerge. Courage. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move forward despite it. It is the quiet strength that rises when you choose to trust yourself, even when the outcome is unknown. Archangel Michael wants you to understand that courage is already within you. It has always been there, waiting for you to access it. Every time you have faced something difficult, every time you have continued despite uncertainty, you have already proven your strength. Now, you are being called to use that strength consciously. When fear appears, do not see it as a barrier. See it as an invitation. An invitation to grow, to expand, to step into a higher version of yourself. Because on the other side of fear is everything you have been seeking: clarity, purpose, freedom. And yes, it will not always feel easy. There will be moments when fear tries to pull you back into old patterns. Moments when it feels safer to stay where you are. But Archangel Michael is reminding you that safety without growth leads to stagnation, and stagnation is what creates the unrest you have been feeling. You were not meant to stay still. You were meant to rise. So as you move forward, begin to shift your perspective. Instead of asking, "What if this goes wrong?" begin to ask, "What if this leads me exactly where I am meant to be?" Instead of focusing on the unknown with fear, begin to approach it with curiosity and trust. Because faith begins where fear loses its hold. And as you continue this journey, you will discover that fear is not something to eliminate. It is something to understand, to move through, and ultimately, to transform. Archangel Michael is walking with you through this process, guiding you step by step, showing you that what once felt like a limitation can become a doorway. And soon, you will begin to see exactly how to use this energy, this unrest, this fear, this awareness, and turn it into something powerful, something purposeful, something that changes not only your life, but the lives of those around you. There is a moment in every transformation when understanding is no longer enough, when you must begin to act. Archangel Michael is guiding you into that moment now. You have seen how unrest is not your enemy, how judgment can be softened into mercy, and how fear can be recognized for what it truly is. But now comes the question that changes everything. What will you do with this awareness? Because awareness without action keeps you in the same place. Archangel Michael is showing you that the energy within you, the unrest, the tension, the movement you feel, is not meant to sit still. It is meant to be directed. It is meant to be shaped into something meaningful, something powerful, something that serves both your growth and the world around you. This is where discipline becomes sacred. Not discipline as restriction, not as punishment, but as guidance. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you are becoming. It is the daily choice to align your thoughts, your words, and your actions with the truth you are beginning to understand. And it begins with something simple, yet deeply transformative: your attention. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. If you allow your attention to stay fixed on fear, it will grow. If you continue to focus on judgment, it will repeat. If you remain caught in unrest without direction, it will feel overwhelming. But the moment you begin to guide your attention consciously, everything starts to shift. Archangel Michael is asking you to become aware of what you are feeding your mind. Pay attention to your thoughts throughout the day. Notice which ones bring clarity and which ones create confusion. Notice which ones lift your spirit and which ones pull you down. This is not about controlling every thought. It is about choosing which ones you give power to. Because not every thought deserves your belief. This realization alone can change your life. When a negative thought arises, you do not have to follow it. You do not have to let it grow into something larger. You can pause, recognize it, and choose something different. You can replace judgment with understanding. You can replace fear with trust. You can redirect your focus toward what strengthens you instead of what weakens you. This is how you begin to transform your inner world. But it does not stop there. Archangel Michael is also guiding you to align your actions with your awareness. Because transformation is not only internal, it must be expressed through how you live. Ask yourself, what small step can I take today that aligns with the person I am becoming? It may be speaking with kindness instead of reacting in frustration. It may be choosing patience when you feel rushed. It may be stepping forward into something you have been avoiding because of fear. These small choices matter more than you realize. They are the building blocks of change. Every time you choose differently, you reinforce a new pattern. You weaken the hold of old habits and strengthen the path toward who you are meant to be. And over time, these small shifts create a powerful transformation. Archangel Michael wants you to understand that you do not need to have everything figured out. You do not need to see the entire path ahead. You only need to take the next step with intention. Because each step creates clarity for the next. And as you begin to move with purpose, something incredible happens. The unrest within you begins to feel different. It no longer feels like chaos. It begins to feel like momentum. You start to realize that this energy was never meant to hold you back. It was meant to push you forward. This is the shift from resistance to alignment. Instead of fighting what you feel, you begin to work with it. You begin to listen to it, to guide it, to use it as fuel for your growth. And in doing so, you step into a new level of power. A quiet, steady power that does not come from force, but from clarity. Archangel Michael is reminding you that this process takes consistency. There will be days when it feels easy, and days when it feels challenging. There will be moments when old patterns try to return. But this does not mean you are failing. It means you are learning. Each moment of awareness, each conscious choice, each step forward is progress. And that progress is leading you somewhere greater than you can currently see. So do not underestimate the power of what you are doing right now. You are not just managing your thoughts. You are reshaping your life. You are not just calming your unrest. You are transforming it into purpose. And as you continue on this path, Archangel Michael will reveal something even deeper. The true nature of faith, and how it is built not in comfort, but in the very moments where you are asked to trust beyond what you can see. There comes a moment in your journey when everything you have learned is tested, not to break you, but to reveal the depth of your strength. Archangel Michael is guiding you into that sacred understanding now. Because what you are building is not temporary peace, not surface-level calm, but something far greater, something unshakable. You are learning faith. But listen carefully. Faith is often misunderstood. Many believe faith means never feeling fear, never doubting, never questioning. But that is not truth. Faith is not the absence of fear. Faith is what you choose in the presence of it. Archangel Michael is showing you that faith is a decision. A conscious, powerful decision to trust, even when your mind cannot see the full picture. Even when your emotions feel uncertain. Even when the path ahead seems unclear. Think about this. Every moment of unrest you have felt, every moment of fear you have faced, has been preparing you for this exact lesson. Because faith is not built in comfort. It is built in the unknown. It is built in the moments when you do not have all the answers, yet you choose to move forward anyway. This is where your transformation deepens. There will be times when your mind tries to return to old patterns. It may question your progress. It may bring back doubts, whispering that things will not change, that you are not ready, that you are not strong enough. These thoughts may feel familiar, even convincing. But Archangel Michael is asking you to see them for what they are, echoes of your past, not reflections of your truth. Because your truth is not found in fear, it is found in trust. Faith begins the moment you stop demanding certainty. It begins when you release the need to control every outcome, every detail, every step. It begins when you allow yourself to move forward without knowing exactly how everything will unfold. And yes, this can feel uncomfortable. The mind seeks control because it believes control creates safety. A true safety does not come from control. It comes from alignment. It comes from knowing that even when you cannot see the way, you are still being guided. Archangel Michael is reminding you that you have never truly been alone on this journey. Even in your most uncertain moments, there has been a quiet presence guiding you, protecting you, leading you forward. You may not have always recognized it, but it has always been there. And now, you are becoming aware of it. And that awareness changes everything. Because when you begin to trust that guidance, you no longer feel the need to force things. You no longer feel the need to rush or to hold on tightly out of fear. Instead, you begin to move with a sense of calm confidence. This is faith in action. It is not loud. It is not dramatic. It is quiet, steady, and deeply powerful. It is the choice to believe that what is meant for you will not pass you by. It is the choice to trust that every experience, even the difficult ones, is shaping you into who you are meant to become. And as you begin to live from this place, something within you shifts completely. The unrest that once felt overwhelming begins to transform into something else, a sense of anticipation, a sense of knowing that something meaningful is unfolding, even if you cannot yet see it clearly. Fear begins to lose its grip, not because it disappears, but because it no longer controls you. You begin to understand that fear is simply a signal, not a command. And this is where your power becomes undeniable. Because when you are no longer controlled by fear, you are free to choose differently. You are free to step forward with intention, to act with clarity, to live with purpose. Archangel Michael is guiding you to anchor yourself in this truth. Faith is not something you wait for. It is something you practice. It is built in the small moments, in the decisions you make each day, in the way you respond to uncertainty, in the way you choose trust over doubt, again and again. And with each choice, your faith grows stronger. It becomes a foundation that cannot easily be shaken, a foundation that supports you through challenges, that keeps you steady when things feel uncertain, that reminds you of who you truly are. You are not lost. You are not unprepared. You are not alone. You are being guided into a deeper level of understanding, a deeper level of strength, a deeper level of trust. And as you continue on this path, Archangel Michael will begin to reveal how this faith does more than transform your inner world. It begins to heal the connections around you, opening the door to mercy not only within yourself, but in every relationship you touch. There is a quiet transformation that begins to take place once faith starts to anchor itself within you. It is not always loud or immediately visible, but its impact is profound. Archangel Michael is revealing this next layer to you now, because what is changing inside you is no longer just for you. It is beginning to touch everything around you. This is where mercy becomes alive in your life. You have already begun to understand how judgment forms and how it can be softened. But now, you are stepping into something deeper, the active expression of mercy, not as an idea but as a way of being. Mercy is not something you turn on only when it feels easy. It is something you choose, especially when it feels difficult. Think about your relationships, the moments of tension, misunderstanding, or distance. In the past, these moments may have triggered quick reactions, defensiveness, frustration, the need to be right. Judgment would rise almost instantly, creating separation between you and the other person. But now, something is different. Because awareness has entered the space where reaction once lived, Archangel Michael is guiding you to pause in those moments, to notice what you feel without immediately acting on it, to recognize that behind every reaction, yours and theirs, there is something deeper. There is a story, a wound, a fear that may not be visible on the surface. This realization changes how you see others. Instead of asking, why are they acting this way? You begin to ask, what might they be carrying? Instead of reacting to the behavior, you begin to look beyond it. This is mercy. It is not about accepting harmful behavior or ignoring truth. It is about choosing understanding over assumption. It is about creating space where healing can begin, instead of adding more weight to what is already heavy. And here is what Archangel Michael wants you to see. When you choose mercy, you are not only changing the moment, you are changing the pattern. Because reactions create cycles. If someone speaks with anger and you respond with anger, the cycle continues. If someone brings judgment and you return it, the pattern deepens. But when you respond with mercy, something shifts. The cycle is interrupted. And in that interruption, something new becomes possible. This is how healing begins, not only within you, but within your relationships. You may not always see immediate results. There will be times when others do not respond the way you hope. There will be moments when your mercy is not fully understood or appreciated. But Archangel Michael is reminding you that your role is not to control their response. Your role is to remain aligned with your truth. Because every time you choose mercy, you strengthen something within yourself. You reinforce the awareness, the patience, the compassion that you are building. And over time, this becomes your natural way of being. This is where your inner transformation begins to reflect outwardly. People may start to notice something different about you. They may not be able to explain it, but they will feel it. A calmness, a steadiness, a presence that does not react the same way it once did. And this presence has power, because in a world where reactions are quick and emotions run high, the ability to remain grounded, to respond with intention, to hold space without judgment, that is rare, and it is needed. Archangel Michael is guiding you to understand that your transformation is not just personal, it is purposeful. The peace you are cultivating within yourself becomes something others can feel. The mercy you extend becomes something others can experience, sometimes for the first time. You become a reflection of something greater. Not perfect, not without challenges, but aligned, rooted in a deeper understanding that goes beyond surface-level reactions. And as this continues, something else begins to happen. The unrest that once felt like a burden now feels like a guide. It alerts you when something is out of alignment. It shows you where patience is needed, where understanding is required, where growth is still unfolding. You begin to trust it, rather than resist it. This is the harmony you have been moving toward, where your inner world and outer actions begin to align, where what you feel, what you think, and what you do are no longer in conflict, but working together. Archangel Michael is reminding you that this process is ongoing. There will always be moments of learning, moments of challenge, moments where you are asked to return to this awareness again. But you are no longer where you once were. You are growing into someone who responds with intention, who sees beyond the surface, who carries a quiet strength that does not need to prove itself. And as you continue on this path, you will begin to understand how to maintain this balance even when life becomes unpredictable, how to remain steady even when everything around you seems uncertain. Because true alignment is not tested in stillness, it is revealed in motion. Even as your inner world begins to settle, life around you may not immediately reflect that same calm. There will still be moments of noise, unpredictability, and pressure. Situations will arise that test your patience, your understanding, and your faith. But Archangel Michael is guiding you to a powerful truth in this moment. True peace is not found in the absence of chaos, but in your ability to remain aligned within it. This is where your transformation becomes steady. Before, your sense of peace may have depended on external conditions. When things were going well, you felt calm. When challenges appeared, your inner state would shift quickly. The unrest would return, and it would feel as though everything you had built was slipping away. But now, something deeper is forming within you. You are learning to anchor yourself. Archangel Michael is showing you that alignment is not about controlling the world around you. It is about staying connected to your inner clarity regardless of what is happening outside. This connection becomes your foundation. It allows you to move through life without being pulled in every direction by circumstances. Think of it like standing in the center of a storm. The wind may be strong, the noise may be loud, but there is a still point within it. A place where everything is quiet, grounded, unmoved. That still point exists within you. And the more you return to it, the stronger it becomes. This is not something that happens automatically. It is something you practice. Each time you feel yourself being pulled into stress, reaction, or overwhelm, you have a choice. You can follow that pull, or you can pause and return to your center. Archangel Michael is guiding you to choose the pause. In that pause, you create space. Space to breathe. Space to think clearly. Space to respond instead of react. And in that space, your power grows. Because when you are no longer reacting automatically, you are no longer controlled by external forces. You begin to move with intention. This is what it means to live in alignment. It does not mean that challenges disappear. It means that you meet those challenges from a place of stability instead of chaos. It means that your peace is no longer fragile. It becomes resilient. And as this resilience grows, something remarkable happens. The situations that once disturbed you begin to lose their intensity. The triggers that once caused immediate reactions begin to soften. You start to see things more clearly, without the distortion of fear or judgment. This clarity allows you to make better decisions, to communicate more effectively, to navigate difficult moments with a sense of calm that you may not have thought was possible before. Archangel Michael is reminding you that this is not about perfection. There will still be moments when you feel unsettled, moments when old patterns try to return. But now, you have the awareness to recognize them. You have the tools to return to your center. And most importantly, you have the strength to choose alignment again. This is the difference. Before, unrest controlled you. Now, you are learning to guide it. And this guidance creates a ripple effect. When you remain calm in a challenging situation, others feel it. When you respond with clarity instead of reaction, it changes the dynamic. When you hold your center, even when things around you are shifting, you become a source of stability not only for yourself, but for those around you. This is how your transformation extends beyond you. You begin to influence your environment, not through force, but through presence. Through the quiet strength that comes from being aligned with your truth. Archangel Michael is guiding you to trust this process. To trust that each moment of awareness, each return to your center, is strengthening something within you that cannot be easily shaken. And as this strength continues to grow, you will find that peace is no longer something you search for. It becomes something you carry. It moves with you, supports you, and grounds you no matter where you are or what you are facing. This is the power of alignment. So as you continue forward, remember this: no matter what is happening around you, you always have access to that still point within. You always have the ability to pause, to reconnect, to choose clarity over chaos. And in doing so, you step fully into the life you are being guided toward. Type "I stand in divine peace" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 8824 is now activated. As this peace begins to anchor within you, recognize this moment as more than just understanding. It is a calling to help others find that same stillness. There are souls who are still caught in the storm, searching for light, waiting for a message like this to reach them. I feel moved to help carry this light further. When you act on that feeling, you are opening a river where others can drink. The word declares, "Give, and it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over." This is a living promise, activated through your obedience. Right now, you can take part in this divine flow. Give through Super Thanks, or through the PayPal link placed in the description and QR code within this space. This is not a transaction. It is a spiritual act, a seed that multiplies beyond what you can see. As you give, may your life overflow with the same peace you are helping to release into others. Step forward and act now. There is a layer of your journey that is often overlooked, yet it holds immense influence over your thoughts, your emotions, and your direction in life. Archangel Michael is bringing this into your awareness now because it is time for you to see clearly what has been operating beneath the surface. There is a silent battle that takes place within the mind. It does not announce itself loudly. It does not always appear as something obvious. Instead, it moves through subtle thoughts, quiet doubts, repeated patterns that seem familiar. These thoughts can feel like your own voice, your own reasoning, your own truth. But not all of them are aligned with who you are becoming. Some of them are working against you. Archangel Michael is revealing that not every thought you experience is meant to guide you forward. Some thoughts are remnants of old beliefs shaped by past experiences, fears, and conditioning. Others are reactions that have been repeated so often they have become automatic. And then there are thoughts that pull you away from your purpose. These are the ones that create hesitation when you are about to move forward. The ones that bring doubt when you begin to feel confident. The ones that whisper that you are not ready, not capable, not enough. These thoughts are not here to support your growth. They are here to keep you where you are. This is the hidden struggle, what many would call spiritual warfare within the mind. Not in a dramatic or external sense, but in the quiet, persistent influence of thoughts that either lift you or limit you. And until you become aware of this, it is easy to be controlled by it. But now, you are seeing it. Archangel Michael is guiding you to recognize the difference between thoughts that align with your truth and those that do not. This is not about rejecting everything that feels uncomfortable. It is about discerning what is real and what is distortion. A thought aligned with your truth will bring clarity, even if it challenges you. It will feel steady, grounded, and purposeful. A thought that pulls you away from your truth will feel heavy, repetitive, and draining. It will keep you stuck in cycles of doubt and fear. Learning to recognize this difference is one of the most powerful shifts you can make. Because once you see it, you are no longer unconsciously controlled by it. You begin to question the thoughts that once felt automatic. You begin to ask, does this thought serve me? Does it move me forward or does it hold me back? And in that questioning, you create space. Space to choose differently. Archangel Michael is reminding you that you are not your thoughts. You are the observer of them. You are the one who decides which thoughts to follow and which ones to release. This is where your authority lies. Because when you begin to take responsibility for your inner dialogue, you begin to reshape your reality. If a thought arises that tells you to stay small, you can choose not to believe it. If a thought tries to pull you back into fear, you can recognize it and let it pass. If a thought encourages growth, clarity, and purpose, you can give it your attention and allow it to expand. This is how you reclaim control. But it requires consistency. There will be moments when old thoughts try to return with strength. Moments when doubt feels convincing. Moments when it would be easier to fall back into familiar patterns. But Archangel Michael is guiding you to stay aware. Because awareness is your protection. The more aware you become, the less influence these limiting thoughts have over you. They may still appear, but they no longer define your actions. They no longer shape your decisions. You begin to move from a place of clarity instead of confusion. And this changes everything. Because when your mind is no longer working against you, it begins to work for you. Your thoughts become aligned with your purpose. Your focus becomes clearer. Your energy becomes more directed. And the unrest that once felt scattered begins to feel organized, intentional, purposeful. You begin to understand that your mind is not something to fight against, it is something to train. And this training is not about force. It is about awareness, choice, and repetition. Each time you choose a thought that aligns with your truth, you strengthen that pathway. Each time you release a thought that does not serve you, you weaken its hold. Over time, this creates a powerful shift. The inner conflict begins to quiet. The mental noise begins to settle. And in its place, something new emerges, a sense of clarity that feels steady and reliable. Archangel Michael is reminding you that this is part of your transformation. Not something separate from it, but something essential to it. Because as your thoughts align, your actions follow. As your actions align, your life begins to reflect that alignment. And this is how you step fully into your purpose. You are no longer pulled in different directions by conflicting thoughts. You are no longer held back by patterns you cannot see. You are moving forward with awareness, with intention, with clarity. And as you continue on this path, you will begin to understand how to bring this alignment into every part of your life. How to live in a way where your thoughts, your actions, and your purpose are all working together. Because this is not just about inner peace. This is about becoming who you were always meant to be. There comes a stage in your transformation where everything begins to come together, not as separate lessons, but as one unified way of living. Archangel Michael is guiding you into that stage now. This is where faith is no longer something you think about occasionally, but something you embody in every part of your life. Because true transformation is not measured by what you understand. It is revealed through how you live. Up until now, you have been learning how to observe your thoughts, how to shift judgment into mercy, how to recognize fear, and how to build faith in uncertain moments. But now, the focus shifts from learning to living. This is where alignment becomes your identity. Archangel Michael is asking you to bring this awareness into your daily actions. not just in quiet moments of reflection, but in your conversations, your decisions, your routines, and your responses to life. Ask yourself, how do I speak when I am fully aligned with my truth? How do I act when I am guided by faith instead of fear? How do I respond when I choose mercy over judgment? These questions are not meant to create pressure. They are meant to guide you, because every moment gives you an opportunity to choose alignment. It is in the way you handle challenges. When something does not go as planned, do you return to frustration, or do you pause and respond with clarity? When someone tests your patience, do you react automatically, or do you remain grounded in understanding? These moments may seem small, but they are where your transformation becomes real. Archangel Michael is showing you that your power is not in grand gestures. It is in consistent choices. It is in the quiet discipline of choosing alignment again and again, even when it is not the easiest path. And as you continue to do this, something remarkable begins to happen. Your actions start to reflect your inner clarity. You no longer feel divided between what you know and what you do. There is a sense of unity within you, a feeling that your thoughts, your words, and your actions are all moving in the same direction. This is integrity, and integrity creates strength, because when you are aligned in this way, you become steady. You are not easily shaken by external circumstances. You are not easily influenced by the opinions or reactions of others. You move with a sense of purpose that comes from within. Archangel Michael is guiding you to trust this process. There may still be moments where you feel challenged, moments where old habits try to return. But now, you have the awareness to recognize them. You have the ability to pause, to realign, to choose differently. And each time you do, you strengthen your foundation. This is how faith becomes a part of who you are. It is no longer something you reach for in difficult times. It becomes the way you approach every situation. It becomes the lens through which you see the world, the energy that guides your decisions, the force that keeps you moving forward even when things feel uncertain. And as this faith deepens, it begins to influence everything around you. Your presence becomes more grounded. Your words carry more clarity. Your actions create more impact. People may begin to notice that something about you has changed, not in a dramatic way, but in a steady, undeniable way. You feel different, more centered, more certain, more connected to something greater than yourself. This is not an illusion. This is the result of your alignment. Archangel Michael is reminding you that this is what you have been moving toward all along. Not perfection, not control, but alignment. A state where your inner world and your outer life reflect the same truth. And in this state, something powerful unfolds. Opportunities begin to appear that match your energy. Situations begin to align in ways that support your growth. Challenges still come, but they no longer feel overwhelming. They feel like steps in your journey. Because you are no longer resisting the process. You are moving with it. This is the flow of faith. It does not mean everything becomes easy. It means everything becomes meaningful. Every experience, every interaction, every moment becomes part of your growth. You begin to see purpose where you once saw confusion. You begin to feel guided where you once felt uncertain. And this changes how you live. Archangel Michael is guiding you to continue walking this path with intention. To remain aware, to remain grounded, to remain aligned. Because you are not just transforming your thoughts or your emotions, you are transforming your life. And as this transformation continues, you will begin to see yourself in a new way. Not as someone searching for direction, but as someone who carries it within. Someone who is no longer waiting to become strong, but who realizes that strength has been building within all along. And this realization will lead you into the final stage of your journey, where you fully recognize who you are and step into it without hesitation. There is a moment in every spiritual journey when everything becomes clear, not because every question has been answered, but because you no longer need all the answers to trust yourself. Archangel Michael is guiding you into that moment now. This is where your transformation reaches a new level of depth, where you begin to see yourself not as someone who is searching, but as someone who has already begun to embody the truth. Look back at where you once stood. There was a time when your inner unrest felt overwhelming, when your thoughts felt scattered, when fear and judgment seemed to control your reactions. You questioned yourself. You doubted your direction. You wondered if you would ever feel steady, ever feel clear. But now, something has shifted. Not in a sudden, dramatic way, but in a steady, undeniable way. You have become more aware, more grounded, more intentional in how you think, how you feel, and how you respond. The same situations that once unsettled you no longer hold the same power. This is not coincidence. This is transformation. Archangel Michael is revealing to you that what you have been building is strength, not the kind that forces its way through challenges, but the kind that remains steady in the presence of them. A quiet strength that does not need to prove itself, because it is rooted in truth. You are no longer reacting to everything that happens around you. You are choosing how to respond, choosing what to believe, choosing where to place your attention. These choices may seem small in the moment, but together, they have created a powerful shift in your life. You are becoming someone who is led by awareness instead of impulse. And this awareness is your authority. Because when you are aware, you are no longer controlled by old patterns. You are no longer pulled in every direction by fear or judgment. You are standing in a place of clarity, where your decisions come from understanding rather than reaction. This is where your identity begins to change. You no longer see yourself as someone trying to fix your thoughts or control your emotions. You begin to see yourself as someone who understands them, who works with them, who guides them. And this changes everything, because the way you see yourself shapes the way you live. Archangel Michael is guiding you to fully recognize this shift, to acknowledge that you are not the same person you were before. You have grown. You have learned. You have moved beyond patterns that once felt unbreakable. And even if there are still moments of challenge, you now have the tools to navigate them. You know how to pause. You know how to observe. You know how to choose differently. This is your power. But there is something even deeper that you are now stepping into. You are beginning to trust yourself, not just in moments of clarity, but even in moments of uncertainty. You are learning that you do not need to have everything figured out to move forward. You are learning that your inner guidance, the awareness you have cultivated, is enough to lead you step by step. This trust creates freedom. Freedom from overthinking. Freedom from constant doubt. Freedom from the need to control every outcome. You begin to move with a sense of ease, knowing that whatever arises, you have the ability to meet it with clarity and strength. Archangel Michael is reminding you that this is what it means to step into your spiritual authority. Not authority over others, but authority within yourself. A deep knowing that you are capable of navigating your path. A confidence that does not depend on external validation, but comes from your own alignment. And as you stand in this authority, something remarkable begins to happen. You become a source of stability. People around you may begin to notice that they feel calmer in your presence, that your words carry weight, not because they are loud, but because they are grounded, that your energy feels steady, even when things are uncertain. This is not something you are trying to create. It is something you have become. Archangel Michael is guiding you to embrace this fully, not with pride but with understanding. This transformation is not just for you. It is meant to be shared through your presence, your actions, your way of being. You are becoming someone who reflects clarity in a world that often feels chaotic. Someone who carries faith in moments where others feel fear. Someone who chooses mercy where judgment once existed. And this is only the beginning of what is possible. Because as you continue to walk in this awareness, in this alignment, in this quiet strength, you will begin to experience life in a completely different way. Not as something that happens to you, but as something you move through with purpose, with trust, with understanding. And now, as you stand at this point in your journey, Archangel Michael is preparing you for the final realization, the deep, comforting truth that you have never been alone, that you are protected, guided, and supported in ways you are only just beginning to understand. This is where everything comes together. This is where peace becomes your foundation. Beloved soul, you have come further than you realize. What once felt like confusion has now become clarity. What once felt like unrest has now become direction. And what once felt like fear has now begun to transform into something steady, something unshakable, faith. Archangel Michael is with you in this moment, and this is the truth you are being asked to receive fully. You were never broken. You were never lost. You were always in the process of becoming. Every moment of discomfort, every wave of inner unrest, every challenge you faced was shaping you, guiding you, preparing you. Even when it felt overwhelming, even when it felt uncertain, there was a purpose unfolding beneath it all. And now, you can see it, not just with your mind, but with your spirit. There is a calmness within you now that was not there before. A quiet knowing that you can trust yourself, that you can face what comes, that you are no longer controlled by the patterns that once held you back. This is your new foundation. Archangel Michael is reminding you that peace is not something you need to search for anymore. It is something you carry within you. It moves with you, speaks through you, and grounds you no matter where you are or what you are facing. And even in moments where life feels uncertain again, and there may be such moments, you will not return to who you once were. Because now you know how to pause. You know how to listen. You know how to choose. You have awakened to your own power. This does not mean life will be without challenges, but it means you will meet those challenges differently, with clarity instead of confusion, with mercy instead of judgment, with faith instead of fear. And that changes everything. Archangel Michael wants you to hear this clearly. You are protected, not in a way that removes all difficulty, but in a way that ensures you are never facing anything alone. There is guidance around you, within you, moving with you. There is a presence that sees your path even when you cannot, that supports you even when you feel uncertain. You are held. And as you continue forward, trust that what you have built within yourself will continue to grow. Trust that your awareness will deepen. Trust that your faith will strengthen. Because this is not the end of your journey. This is the beginning of a new way of living. A life where you are no longer reacting to everything around you, but responding with intention. A life where your inner world is no longer in conflict, but in alignment. A life where your presence brings calm, clarity, and strength not only to yourself, but to others as well. This is who you are becoming, and Archangel Michael is guiding you to step into it fully, without hesitation, without doubt, without looking back at who you used to be, because you are no longer that person. You are someone who has faced the unrest and transformed it, someone who has recognized fear and moved through it, someone who has chosen mercy, build faith, and step into alignment. And that is something powerful. So as you move forward from this moment, carry this truth with you. Everything you need is already within you. Every step you take from here will continue to reveal that more clearly. Trust yourself. Trust the process. And trust that you are exactly where you are meant to be. Type "I walk in faith" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 9901 is now activated. As this message settles into your spirit, recognize that what you have received is not meant to stop with you. There are countless souls still trapped in unrest, still searching for the clarity you have just experienced. I feel called to help this message reach someone who is still waiting. When you respond to that calling, you become part of something greater. The word declares, "Those who sow in tears shall reap in joy," and right now, your giving becomes a seed that carries light into someone else's darkness. Give through Super Thanks or through the PayPal link in the description, or the QR code placed within this space. This is not just an offering. It is a prophetic act of faith, a release that opens doors not only for others, but for you. As you give, may your life overflow with peace, with clarity, and with divine favor. Step forward and act now.